All right, another AFC East matchup here. We have the New York Jets, a little underrated in my opinion, against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills have a strong defense, so that gives me pause right away. Let me hit you with the projections here, and because of that Buffalo defense, I'm going to tell you, spoiler alert here, the Jets' projections offensively are not great. Darnold I have as a sit, although I like him to bounce back this year. He was 7-6 as a starter. I like Darnold just fine. Maybe not as a weekly fantasy football play, but as somebody you can bet your money on, I like Darnold. Le'Veon Bell for me is a start. Jamison Crowder's a start. And Herndon, I actually have a huge projection on this week. Huge projection on Herndon. Surprised I didn't notice that before recording here. But I think they'll be using tight end quite a bit against Buffalo. For Buffalo, on the other hand, I have Josh Allen as a start. Actually, a really nice projection on him. He's a top 10 quarterback. Devin Singletary's a start. We'll see what happens to Zach Moss. I'm holding on him, but I am starting Singletary. At wide receiver, okay, here's the question. Is it going to be Diggs? I know David thinks it's Diggs. I've been saying it's going to be John Brown. We'll see. One of those receivers is a start. Pick your favorite Bill. And then let's see here. Cole Beasley comes back, interestingly. Slot receiver comes back with a big projection. If you're playing daily fantasy, let me say this. He's your bargain player of the week based on my projections. I have him getting in the end zone for sure and getting about 10 catches. So, again, these are computer projections, not mine. But if you're looking for matchups in daily fantasy, Cole Beasley might be a little darling for you. What do you think about those projections, David? What do you think?
I'm a little bit torn because you mentioned Chris Herndon, and he's been like my sleeper of the year tight end pretty much, or one of probably two or three that I have. And I do think he's in a great situation because you talk about the wide receivers. Perriman's been hurt. Mims has been hurt. They've been missing time. Crowder's the only one who's actually played with Darnold, who's going to be on the field for the wide receivers. So Herndon's got that advantage. But the Bills last year were the third toughest tight end for matchup for tight ends in fantasy. Only the Patriots and Ravens allowed less points per game to tight ends. So I'm probably split on Herndon. I don't mind him. I don't love him. I don't hate him. I'd love to see what he does because I think it's going to be a big year for Herndon. I think he could emerge as the number one receiver for that team. You talk about the other side, Buffalo. I really want to see how that running back stable shakes out because this is a great matchup for them. The Jets allowed the fourth most fantasy points to running backs last year. And then you talk about running backs on the other side. We got a little bit of a narrative going here, revenge narrative. Frank Gore against his old team. I would not start Frank Gore, but if you're in a 14-team, 20, 32-team league,
sure, yeah,
maybe Adam Gase gets him into the end zone. So I think maybe don't pay up for Le'Veon Bell. If you have better options, if you bought him in redraft, you almost have to start Bell. But definitely DFS, I don't think you're touching him this week.
Sure. Yeah. And I was looking back at that Cole Beasley projection. Comes back computer rankings fourth against among all wide receivers. So again, I'm not saying start him in your fantasy lineups, but if you're a daily fantasy guy and you're looking for a bargain basement guy that could pop, my projections like him. And Herndon, I would actually say fits that same mold. He's also a top 5 projected tight end, interestingly enough. So again, I see these projections. I'm surprised by him. I'm sure a lot of people listening to this are surprised by. Well, let me hit you with the over/under here. Bovada has the New York Jets plus 6.5 against the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, I'm taking the Bills easily. I don't trust anything having to do with the Jets this year unless it's them playing from behind and losing and racking up garbage points.
Hey, man, the Jets, to me, were a little bit like the Raiders last year in terms of getting paid and all that. I'm going to actually take the Jets. I'm with you. The Buffalo Bills will win. But I'm going to take the Jets, man. Nobody likes the Jets outside of Jets fans. Like, everybody hates Adam Gase, and everybody, is throwing shade at Sam Darnold, who was over 500 as a quarterback last year on a bad team, in my opinion. Look, man, I think it's one of these weird division things where it's going to be a closer game. I'll take the Jets. I don't feel great about it, but who cares? It's week 1. Let's move it on. We got